I'm starting this session on angles. The main points that we would be discussing during our session would be angles at a point. Before that, we would go through the basic definitions of point, lines, and angles. And then the first major topic that would be revised or discussed during this class would be angles at a point. Then we would go on and see how the angles on a straight line are formed. Then the angles formed within the parallel lines would be discussed. Angle properties of triangles and quadrilaterals, and angle properties of regular and irregular polygons. And then we will try to solve as many past paper topical questions according to the time we would be having. Now, the first thing is we need to introduce ourselves to the angles. And for the introduction of angle, the first point or the first thing that we need to know is what is a point. So it is the most basic geometric figure that we have. And this is something which has a position, but it does not have any shape or size. So point is something which does not have any shape or size, but it has a position and it can be located according to its position. Another way of defining a point is that it is basically a circle with zero radius. Sometimes we define it as a circle with zero radius. So a circle with zero radius in geometry is called a point. Now, a point is normally represented by a dot. A dot would represent a point, or sometimes we see that it is represented by even a cross. Sometimes we would see that a cross would be representing a point. So this is how the point is represented. Now, what is a line? So a line is formed by basically joining any 2 points. And it would be the shortest distance between any 2 points. So for example, if I try to join these 2 points, then we would get a line. And similarly, if we have 2 points, C and D, and if we extend the line beyond these 2 points, then this would be called a line. When the line is extended at both the sides, it is called a line. When it is terminated at both of its ends, then it is called a line segment. So normally the lines we discuss, they are actually line segments, because a line is always extending itself in both the directions. And that extension here is shown by these arrowheads, that the line would keep extending to this side, and even it would be continuously extending itself in the rightward direction also. Sometimes we have one particular point of a line, and from the other side, the line keeps extending. The line is terminated at E, but it is extending itself from the side of F. So in this case, this is called a ray. A ray is a type of line which has one fixed point or end point, and it does not extend beyond that point. And from other side, it keeps extending itself. It keeps moving on. So that is why it is called a ray. So we have 3 things. The first one is the line, which is extending itself on both the sides. Second one could be ray, which is terminated at one end, but keeps extending itself on the other side. And then lastly, we have line segment, which has both terminating points or end points, and it is drawn between the 2 points. So it is called a line segment. Line segment, line, and ray are discussed. Now, the next thing is intersecting lines. Now, if we have, for example, 2 lines like this, and they are intersecting each other, then they would be having a common point. And this common point is called their point of intersection. So whenever 2 lines cross each other, then they are intersecting each other, and then there would be a point of intersection that they would be having. A special case of lines of intersection could be when the 2 lines are intersecting in a way that they are perpendicular to each other. So when we have 2 lines, one is horizontal and the other one is vertical, these 2 intersecting lines are called perpendicular lines. These are perpendicular intersecting lines, which are perpendicular to each other because the angle formed at their point of intersection is 90, as we will be discussing it further later on. Now, let's move on to angles, how it is formed. So an angle is formed when we have the intersection of 2 lines or 2 rays. For example, if I have a ray over here and I have another ray, and these 2 rays are intersecting each other at this particular point, then an angle would be formed between these 2 rays at this point. This would be the angle, which is normally represented by theta or some other letter. So if I call this point as A, and there is a point over here which is B, and another point over here C, then this angle could be named as either theta, or we could call it as angle A, and this is the symbol of angle. It is similar to L, and it could even be called as A with a hat or cap over it. And then we could also use 3 letters to name it. For example, we could name it as angle BAC, or we could call it BAC, and there would be a cap or hat over A. When we name an angle with 3 letters, the angle is always formed at a point or letter which is written in between the 2 letters. So angle would be formed at A, and it would be formed between B and C. So it is B over here, it is C. The angle would be formed between B and C over A. This is how the name is representing it. Similarly, we could even call it as CAB, angle CAB. Again, the angle would be formed at A, and it would be formed between C and B. We can even call it CAB, and there would be a cap over A. So this is how the angle is formed, and it is represented by this. The unit that is used to show the measurement of an angle is normally degrees. And we know that when we complete one cycle or one circle, the angle becomes 360 degree. For example, if we had a point and a line, and we started measuring the angle from here, and we completed one cycle, the angle formed over here would be 360 degree. And this complete cycle is basically divided into 360 parts. So the angle of a circle becomes 360, and one of the unit would be 1 upon 360, or simply we call it as 1 degree if we divide the circle into 360 equal parts. So this was the introduction, the basic introduction of the point, of the line, intersecting lines, and then how the angle is formed. Now let's move on to the next thing. Very quickly, we need to go through the types of angles also. So the first type of angle, it is called acute angles. And these are the angles which are greater than 0 and less than 90. Means that x degree, any angle x which is between 0 degree and 90 degree, it would be called as an acute angle. Then we have a special type of angle which is called right angle. It is the angle which is exactly equal to 90 degrees. So the shape of this angle and its representation is done by making a square or a box like this. And the angle is a right angle. Then the next type is obtuse angle. It would be an angle which would be greater than 90 but less than 180. So x is between 90 and 180 over here, and this is how the angle is formed. Lastly, we have reflex angle, and this is the angle which would be greater than 180 and less than 360 degrees.
We try to explain complex concepts in simple language and with effective examples. If you liked the video and the way we explain the subject, consider liking this tutorial, commenting on it and subscribing to our channel and press the bell icon, so that you stay updated and get notified when we upload more videos. Thanks for watching.